We are witnessing one of the biggest moments in monetary history. The U.S. government is proposing to buy 1 million Bitcoin. That's $83 billion worth of the hardest money ever created. Bitcoiners have stormed Washington, D.C., and Michael Saylor just dropped his $106 trillion game plan to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world. Oh, and by the way, the U.S. might be issuing Bitcoin bonds. What the hell is happening? Buckle up those chin straps and get locked in, because today's show is absolutely massive. We got Saylor, Lummis, laser-eyed senators, and the legend Jack Mallers bringing the absolute heat. Yeah, it's time to send it.
I'm so pleased to announce that today I will be reintroducing the Bitcoin Act. And I'll be joined here shortly by Senator Justice of West Virginia, who is one of the co-sponsors. And we have several other additional co-sponsors. And a lot of it is a result of the excitement that's been building.
There's the Bitcoin senator. All right, now let's break this down. On March 6th, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order establishing the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. You see, 2025, when you put the 2 and the 2, that's a 4. You add the 5, that's a 9. 3, 6, 9. What does it mean? Who knows? But what we do know is this: America is now officially on the road to stacking massive amounts of Bitcoin. And it's bipartisan. Look at Ro Khanna spreading the sound money gospel. Look at this. Senator Cynthia Lummis also dropped another bombshell. 12 other politicians are now backing a bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin for the U.S. Treasury. Massive. And why? Maybe because they finally realized that Fiat is a scam and Bitcoin is the future. As a companion bill will be introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives, and this is usually done to expedite the process. Like I said, buckle up. And if you think 1 million BTC is crazy, Michael Saylor says you're not thinking big enough, and that's just the beginning. GigaChat is laying out a plan for the U.S. to buy 5.5 million BTC. He ain't playing around.
How should the U.S. pursue a Bitcoin strategy? Well, Senator Lummis has given us a clear guideline with the Bitcoin Act in Nashville in July. And what the Bitcoin Act said, it said, let's acquire 1 million Bitcoin over a 5-year period in a programmatic, disciplined fashion, transparent to all. And so let's consider the consequences of this strategy. Well, first of all, last week, the president signed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act or order. If we hold that 200,000 Bitcoin for the next 20 years, even though you see a flat line on the screen, the flat line is worth $3 trillion. So that's the value of doing nothing. Sometimes people think that you have to do something to make money. Sometimes the absence of doing awful and stupid things is making money. Doing stuff is highly overrated if the stuff is trading or selling your Bitcoin. The Lummis bill would acquire a million Bitcoin or 1.2 million Bitcoin. If you look at the consequences of that over the time frame, it's worth $16 trillion to the nation. In this case, there's a bit of reflexivity. If the United States starts to more aggressively stockpile Bitcoin, it's going to accelerate the growth of the network. It's going to accelerate capital flowing in the network. It's going to increase and expand the overall digital capital network. If we move to a triple max strategy, you'll end up with 4 million Bitcoin. That's worth $73 trillion to America. And of course, President Trump has laid out a guideline. We should be the superpower. If you want a superpower strategy, here's a superpower strategy. Acquire Bitcoin consistently. By the way, over what time frame? Consistently daily between now and the 0.99. 0.99 is January of the year 2035. the point at which 99% of the Bitcoin supply has been mined, the asset becomes effectively capped for all practical purposes because the last 1% comes out over 100 years. 0.99 between now and then is you've got 10 years for the digital gold rush. You should get your Bitcoin before there's no more Bitcoin for you. And you can see here, in this strategy, we acquire it consistently, and then we use surpluses from the U.S. government to continue to save in Bitcoin. It's worth $106 trillion to the United States. And so what does that look like? Well, the Lummis plan, which is grand, is modest in some ways, and a modest strategic Bitcoin reserve plan neutralizes the national debt. Sometimes doing modest things are actually brilliant as long as you do the thing. It's like the people that bought just a little bit of Bitcoin in 2012. It was a modest investment. It made them billionaires. A modest thing 20 years in advance is a brilliant thing. If you're more aggressive, the triple max plan negates the national debt. The superpower plan creates a global superpower.
My friends, the Bitcoin slingshot appears to be engaged. And so while all this is happening, inflation just printed lower. You know what that means? The money printer is coming back. And while normies panic over short-term dips, the smart money is buying. Metaplanet and Rumble get it. These institutions know, and they're not alone. There's tons. We're going to get to that later. But what's coming next? A massive wall of liquidity because they see the game theory playing out that Bitcoiners have been talking about for years. The U.S. government, corporations, and billionaires are loading up. And the EU? Well, they're having their oh shit moment. Absolutely wrecked. Now we got something massive to talk about. Is the U.S. issuing Bitcoin bonds? Wait until you see this, but before we bring it home, look at our likes! Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pat by sharing the Sound Money Gospel while we take a moment to recognize our sponsors, because the EU is looking to steal your savings. Do you want to know how to prevent that? You're going to want to check out the Masters of Bitcoin Sovereignty, the Bitcoin Way. If you're looking to learn how to Bitcoin, how to properly secure your Bitcoin, you might want to head on over to the newly revamped Bitcoin Way website where you can begin your road to Bitcoin sovereignty today. If you're looking to schedule a free 30-minute consultation, go ahead and use that link below in the show notes. Are you absolutely sick of explaining why taxation and money printing are theft to people who just don't care? Well, all your lonely days are gone, my friends, with the Orange Pill app. You can stack friends who stack sats. It's the ultimate hub to connect with fellow Bitcoiners, find meetups, and discover every Bitcoin conference happening near you and across the country. Oh, and just in, the Orange Pill app Lightning Wallet is live. You can send and receive Bitcoin at the speed of lightning, baby. No setup, no limits, just pure sats and freedom. Zapty usernames, Lightning URLs, Lightning Network addresses. You can pay invoices. Bitcoin is better with friends. And now you can zap them instantly, all in one app. What are you waiting for? Download the Orange Pill app today and start meeting your laser-eyed brothers and sisters in the real world. Zap your friends, your favorite Bitcoiners, and Bitcoin companies, and who knows? The connections you make could last a lifetime. All right, here we go. Prepare yourselves. The Bitcoin bonds are coming. Roll it!
First of all, we have $9.3 trillion of federal debt that's coming due within the next 12 months. The interest rates on that debt have dramatically increased over the last 3 years, and refinancing it at today's interest rates will create an extremely profound burden on taxpayers. Secretary Bessent has indicated his strong desire to spread future Treasury issuances across the duration curve, avoiding the risk of putting everything in the short end of the curve, as Secretary Yellen did. President Trump and Secretary Bessent have also indicated their strong interest in lowering 10-year interest rates, which have an important effect on consumer finance, mortgage finance, auto loans, as well as the federal interest expense. President Trump created the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, and in particular directed the United States government to identify revenue-neutral ways to acquire Bitcoin. By creatively integrating Bitcoin into treasury bonds, I would like to suggest that we can significantly reduce the borrowing costs of the federal government and defease the debt. And in particular, I would like to propose that for Americans that purchase these bonds, that they be tax-free from both interest as well as capital gains, and offer a very strong way for American families to rebuild wealth. So what's the program? It's actually pretty straightforward. $2 trillion bond issuance, 10% of the bonds go for the purchase of Bitcoin, 90% go for other government purchases. Per $100, $10 buys Bitcoin. The interest rate on a current pay basis is much lower than the normal interest rate, only 1% per year. This dramatically reduces the current interest expense of the federal government. At the conclusion of the bond, in this case a 10-year bond, investors are due a compound annual growth rate of 4.5% on a senior basis. That's equivalent, roughly, to the 10-year interest rate on treasuries today. And after they receive 4.5% on a senior basis, they're entitled to 50% of the Bitcoin upside, and the United States government retains the other 50% of the Bitcoin upside.
Yes, Bitcoin-backed U.S. bonds are now on the table. This is something we've never seen before in history. Think about it. If the U.S. can issue bonds backed by Bitcoin, it's game over for Fiat. This is how we do it.
This is my way. This is how I win.
This is how we end the Fed. And the U.S. immediately becomes the most dominant financial power on the planet. They're talking about the U.S. issuing $2 trillion in Bitcoin bonds. And guess what? It's not just the government. We were talking about those corporations going all in too. There's over 70 companies that have already adopted the Bitcoin standard in corporate treasuries, and it's only expanding. And it looks like GameStop may be knocking on Satoshi's door. All right, but enough of all that. Time to get to some signal. You're going to love this one because Jack Mallers went off on how the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve will return America to those founding principles.
And when I think of what the Nixon shock did in 1971, is it violated the U.S. Constitution, specifically Article 1, Section 10. No state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payments of debt. And so economic policy in this country over the last century has been a violation of not only the best interest of the public and the best interest of the people and the best interest of its citizens, but the founding ideals that started this great nation. And we go to 2008, what I dubbed the bailout, where global economic crisis destroyed not only this nation, but those all over the world. Reminds me of this quote: "I sincerely believe that banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies." What did 2008 violate? The Declaration of Independence. It was a direct violation to the idea that all men are created equal. In 2008, the economic policies and the reaction to the crisis violated this idea in all of our faces as individual citizens of this country. All men were not created equal that day. And so it's my opinion that for the last century, America has drifted away from its founding principles and sacrificed private property in 1933, sound money in 1971, and free markets in 2008 for short-term policy gain and control, and it was very reactionary and defensive to crisis. And I give all of this to give relative context into what we're living through right now in the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. I think that this was a pivotal moment in American history and will be looked back as a turning point in economic policy for this country.
Absolutely nailed it. And if you're paying attention, you know everything is right on schedule and the game theory is accelerating.
The other side, I think that the fact that the US government acknowledged the importance of Bitcoin is incredible. I think that every other countries will follow, every other country should follow. I've been good friends with the president of El Salvador. Actually, Jack Mallers is the person that actually started the movement in a
little casual introduction, no big deal. Hey, you guys should meet.
And So this is a moment in time where I think in the next and for the next 20 years, the new global financial system will be reshaped. And I think that in the past, humanity was using gold. Now it's clear that Bitcoin is the right way to do so, because then imagine trying to transport gold or gold from one country to another. Bitcoin is the way, and now I think that there was an announcement. There will be a strategy that will be not too public to acquire Bitcoins, because otherwise, like, they will just pump the price, and then there will be, you know, an holy shit moment where from every other country thinking, oh, I'm late, I don't have enough Bitcoin, and then the next financial reset in the entire history and all the future financial resets will be on Bitcoin. So this is everything that we needed. This is a stamp that Bitcoin needed, and then, you know, from now on, we just keep our heads down, we keep building better infrastructure.
Bottom line, this is the biggest financial shift of our lifetime. The U.S. may have just declared sly roundabout war on Fiat. The Bitcoin slingshot is engaged. And Michael Saylor just mapped out a $106 trillion Bitcoin future to save America. What do you think? Is the U.S. going all in on Bitcoin? Will other nations follow? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to get your tickets to Mining Disrupt 2025. The biggest Bitcoin mining conference on the planet, and it's coming to Fort Lauderdale, March 25th through the 27th. Get your tickets today and join thousands of Bitcoin mining professionals and enthusiasts from around the globe for an electrifying experience at Mining Disrupt. See the latest cutting-edge hardware, products, and services that are revolutionizing the Bitcoin mining industry. For over half a decade, Mining Disrupt has been the premier conference and expo exclusively dedicated to Bitcoin mining. Be part of the future and join the movement that's shaping the world of Bitcoin mining. Don't miss out. Head over to miningdisrupt.com and get your tickets today. Use promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off. Oh, and the Simply Bitcoin news desk gonna be on site. I'm gonna be there. Nico and Opti are gonna be there holding it down, and we hope to see you there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us a pep by sharing this video with someone saving in fiat.
Because they expect
because they want to sell it eventually, Michael. I mean, let's be honest. Most of the people who are, yes, sure, some people pass it on to their children, but like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit. So let me say it a different way.
Okay. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, there's a name for them. We call them poor. Okay.
Set those notifications for the best in Bitcoin news delivered to you daily, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.